Hey guys, Shadow Rockets here with another episode of Diary of a Mediocre Gamer, Self-Help Edition. Today I played a different game. I played Hearthstone, which for those who don't know is a game invented by Blizzard, and it does have the characters from World of Warcraft. I am a WoW nerd. So it was pretty fun to do something different. And also today we're going to be talking about reading, and what good are books? You know, not what books are good, but what good are books.
That's true.
I got Josh in here with me today, so let's get right into it. What good are books, Josh? What good are books?
That's a pretty broad question, but I think it's a good question we can bring up nowadays, because I feel like we're not really, aside from like the assigned reading list we have in school, I guess books aren't really like looked upon as more of an influential aspect of society anymore.
True.
At least in our age group, I think we kind of like tend towards placing more focus on like technology, stuff like that, and it was kind of trite in saying those kind of things, but you don't really hear about in conversation coming up that, oh, did you read that new book lately, or read a good book lately? It doesn't really come up anymore.
Yeah.
At least I would think that would have came up like a long time ago, like in conjecture. Like, oh, have you read that new book by Albert Camus? Like, you don't hear about that anymore.
Who's Albert Camus?
Exactly. But it's true. I mean, I feel like it's always good to like sit down, read a good book here and there. But I mean, I understand at this point in our lives, kind of as college students, it's kind of hard to actually take the time to actually sit aside and read a good book. I mean, the only thing we are kind of reading nowadays is textbooks or assigned reading, which kind of takes away the lure of reading. I'm not gonna lie. But the same.
so much.
But it's good to like come back to a book that you always wanted to read, or something that you've read in high school, because it's always good to come back and find the different meaning to a book, because like yourselves, books grow with a person. So a book may have meant something to you at a different time in your life, so as to say in high school, and now it might mean something more to you now that you're in college. So there's a lot of books that actually change for meaning for you as you're actually growing in maturity level, meaning in life is changing for yourself. So going back to a good book definitely is a good experience to have.
Mm-hmm. And definitely that, I mean, I know a lot of people, my parents especially, read like the ebooks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my mom has a Kindle and everything, but it's just not the same.
It's not.
I personally can't bring myself to read lengthy amounts of words on a screen, no matter what the screen is. But I could read a book. I mean, I read the Aragon series earlier this semester, or last semester. Well, I read the last book.
Yes, I remember that.
But I finished it in like a week and a half because I was addicted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like books are a good place to get away. Like we were talking music before.
Mm-hmm.
Books have been kind of, just like you were saying, they've been kind of neglected for people our age. They've lost their value. But I feel that if you get a really good author, you know, we could use the stereotypical Harry Potter series. You know, everybody likes those. They really do. Everybody does like them. If you don't like them, you suck. No, I'm just kidding.
That's on record.
Yeah, that is on record. No, I'm just kidding. If you don't like the Harry Potter series, there's something wrong with you. No. No.
True, that's you.
Yeah, no. I have met some people that weren't too fond of them, and that's mainly because they were really mainstream. But, you know, it's whatever, to each their own.
True.
I feel that it's a very intimate way of an author expressing feelings or expressing a mindset, and you can really get a lot out of a book. It's for your own interpretation, rather than like, say, a movie where most movies, you know, they'll tell you like, oh, this is how this character is feeling, basically, you know, judging by their face expressions. 90% of communication is nonverbal.
True.
So you get that part of the story from a movie, but in a book you kind of have to make up your own interpretations of what this character might be doing, and I think that really allows you to kind of manifest yourself in that character a little bit.
True.
You know, everybody's going to read a book a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I read a book from you and you read a book, you know, I might picture a character differently than you do.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like a open page.
So to say. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
It's true. And I mean, reading, aside from the whole personal growth thing, I mean, connected to the whole personal growth thing, I mean, reading a book that's of a certain genre or literature base, it helps you kind of like sympathize with whatever's actually being written on the pages. So like if you want to like know more about a certain sector of society or about how certain times were at a certain point in our society, it's always good to look back on books and see how that sentiment was at that time and place in history, and to actually get that feeling of how life was, how people were dealing with certain things, and you actually kind of sympathize with those people and actually understand and get a better understanding of how things were, past and present. So it's definitely good to gain a more worldly perspective. I mean, books can open up many worlds and doors to you. It's just a matter of picking up the pages and starting to read, because you can get really entranced by a book, and I mean, you can really get developed from a book. I mean, books have a certain power to them, so don't ever underestimate the power of a book, because it could definitely really help you.
Oh, for sure. As much as, people see me not reading, when I do pick up a book, it gives my full attention, mainly because they're good. Books are good. Whether it's fantastic or not, you do tend to get sucked into a book more. It's a good way of getting away, I think, and also, other benefits such as I sleep after books better, because reading makes me tired, but
it's a good segue into the sleep.
Yes.
It's a happy segue.
Get more sleep.
Yes.
No, that's maybe a topic for another day.
Yes.
But let's talk about some books maybe that were good. I know I suggested the Aragon Harry Potter series earlier, the stereotypical, you want to read a book, go ahead and read those.
I mean, for myself, I kind of stay away from mainstream books. Not because they're not good, because there's some good pieces of literature in mainstream. Like Harry Potter, I think they were very well written for a mainstream book. I definitely recommend them to anybody. I've heard good things about the Aragon series myself. I haven't actually read them myself, but I've heard some good things about them. For me, I like to more stay towards like classical and modern literature. I think there's so many good books out there I could suggest. More recently, I've been getting into like African American fiction, so one of my favorite authors is actually Toni Morrison. She has a lot of great books out there. Richard Wright's Native Son. There's so many good books out there. A lot of authors you probably wouldn't even hear of, too. I mean, Alice Walker, Maya Angelou. I mean, they're all great figures in the literature that you should definitely give a look upon. And that's just one sector of literature. There's some other great ones that kind of reflect American society throughout the ages. You can definitely see the trajectory in history through American literature. I mean, if you look at like Mark Twain, then go into like Henry James, and you go into more other people like maybe like F. Scott Fitzgerald, I mean, you're going to see this progression through American history, and it's quite alluring to actually be a part of that and be entranced by that. So it's interesting to see that play out.
Oh, yeah. So many different kinds of books out there.
Oh, for sure. There's so many genres out there to take your pick from.
Oh, yeah, honestly. One for everybody, for sure. I think my friend would beat me if I didn't mention the Name of the Wind series. I don't know if that's the actual name of the series, but look up the Name of the Wind. It's good okay. series.
I will.
Well, I think that's about all the time we have for this episode. Hope you enjoyed my Hearthstone gameplay. It's the second half, actually, of the first half, which was 20 minutes. So, anyway, hope you like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Shadow Rockets out.